Good morning, everyone. I'm Vince Lancy, and in today's market rundown, we're going to look at a new Goldman report discussing gold from the CTA cohort point of view. And we're also going to look at the implications of the Assange pardon. It won't be characterized as a pardon probably anywhere else, but that's what it was. Before we get to market prices, I wanted to reach out and call out and thank two people, Jake and Chris, of Arcadia fame, for treating me to a very nice dinner last week. I posted a picture on X showing that I was at a local restaurant or bar, and they decided to treat me to dinner, which is what they did. So I appreciate the Venmo gift certificate, so to speak. So thank you very much, and let's move on from there. Thanks a lot, guys. All right. Markets. I'll put a chart up here. You can see that. The dollar is up 15 at 105.63. 10-year yields are down almost 2 basis points at 421.5. The S&P 500 is 54.57, stabilizing after another sell-off on the back of NVIDIA weakness. The VIX is 1343, up a little bit. Gold is 2330, down 2 and change. Silver is 2948, down 4. Copper is 440, down 30 basis points. Crude is 81.29, down 81, but still firmly above 80. This is not looking good if you're Biden worried about the economics of things. Nat gas 277, down 3 cents. Bitcoin bouncing up 1.5% at 61,146. Ethereum 3371, up 21. People ask me what I thought about that, and I have opinions. I'll just tell you what my trade is. On the sell-off in Bitcoin, I bought Ethereum. That is a trader talking, not a religious person talking. And why did I do that? Because even though Bitcoin was more oversold, at least from a technical point of view, I see Ethereum as having a reason to go up, whereas Bitcoin can become more and more like gold 5 years ago. It sells off and there's no reason to buy it. And so people watch and wait for a reason to buy it. Anyway, that's my take on it. Palladium down $12 at 963. Platinum down $3 at 993. Grains are all down. Corn leading the way. Down 2. Here, we'll do this. Now we can fit it. Down 2 at 11.68. That's soybeans. Down 4.5 cents at 4.24. That's corn, and wheat is 5.65, down 1.8 cents. Okay. To the main show. Biden's Assange pardon makes him look weak. That's something I'd like to talk about. I don't generally talk about politics, or we don't talk about politics on here, but I think it's, from a trader's point of view, politics matters right now. Okay. Front page, the IGWT milkshake debate. That's a founder's post, so premium people won't see that. But there's it's a 3.5 hour piece there, almost 3 hours and 45 minutes, I think. There's a 30-minute excerpt there, and we're going to break it down for premium as I get it more organized. If you're a founding subscriber, you get a lot of unedited stuff. You get more discussions of portfolios, and you get a lot more institutional research, especially those covering markets in depth outside of gold and silver. So wait a week, and I'll break those down for you, or subscribe to Founders. Okay. Gold, the Everything Hedge Report. I'm leaving that up there. It's a reference point for me because this is analysis by someone else that I really liked. And what else we got there? Yesterday's show. Sellers have little to show for their constant efforts. Okay. Starting with Goldman. All right. Goldman puts out periodically a CTA report. I would have to say it's visually the best report out there, and their data is pretty much the best data out there. And I'm sure they're holding back the better data, knowing what I know about Goldman. It is my opinion, looking at their charts, they have no opinion on these reports, at least not on this version that I get. The long unwind is complete with little damage done. All right, I'll show you a chart from that. This is the month-over-month change in commodity trading advisor investment in commodities themselves. From month to month, it matters to give you an idea of what things are, how things are going from where they were to where they are. So precious metals was 25 billion. Now it's down to 16 billion. Now, you would look at that and you'd be right to say, well, it's shrinking. They're pulling money out of precious metals. And I would say to you, yes. And what have happened to precious metals? Nothing. So their selling is having little effect. Also, there are signs in here, and I'm going to show you the next picture, of why I think their selling is diminished and that they're going to be buying. This is very interpretive, but it's going to be pretty accurate. The question is, do CTAs matter anymore? Everybody knows that. That's something I always focus on. Okay, so this is conditional projections for gold. I'm going to tell you what it means without spelling it out for you here. CTAs are long the market. They almost always are in gold. And as the market sells off, they will liquidate their longs, but they will not get short. As the market rallies, a month ago, CTAs were not buying any more gold or silver at all because they had their fill. They were fully invested. But since the mid-year, since the June mid-year and reallocation, they're now getting money allocated back to them, or they're reallocating their own money to go back into gold. So not only will gold have more selling if it comes off, because some of them are long and they will sell, gold will also have fresh buying coming in on the way up. Not a lot, but enough to make you pay attention, because these guys are the early movers. They're not necessarily right. They're not necessarily the best, but if they move and they make money, you'll see bigger momentum type funds coming into the market as well. So from a CTA perspective, from a small hedge fund and retail investing perspective, the selling is pretty much done. Okay. It's the big boys that matter most. Okay. Assange is free and Biden is in trouble. That's a headline I made up there. All right. Some facts first. Julian Assange will plead guilty to leaking U.S. national security secrets and return to his native Australia under a deal with Biden's DOJ that ends a nearly 15-year battle nightmare for the WikiLeaks founder. This might be said from Zero Hedge. This might be sourced from Zero Hedge. It might be sourced from FT. I'm not sure, but I wanted to find the most factual, driest one that I could. After spending more than a decade holed up and imprisoned in London, mainly to avoid being sent to the U.S., Assange, 52, is expected to be sentenced to time served, 62 months in a Belmarsh prison, a high security facility in southeast London, during a court appearance Wednesday in Saipan in the U.S. Northern Mariana Islands, according to potentially lengthy sentence in an American, avoiding a potentially lengthy sentence in an American prison. I have something to say about that, but I want to say this comment. I want to say what Zero Hedge says on this, getting into the editorial side. Finally, while this is excellent news for Assange and his family and journalistic freedom everywhere, we can't help but wonder if this outstanding result would have occurred were it not for Biden heading into the first debate with Trump with his poll numbers in the toilet. And the answer to that is yes, it is. After getting his clock cleaned on Bitcoin, it is my opinion that Biden has moved to diminish further blindside smackdowns by Trump headed into the debate. Now, what do I mean by that? If you're asking, I'm going to tell you. Well, I'm glad you asked. In what can easily be viewed as an attempt to weaken Trump's growing big tent of conservative topic voters and deflect any momentum Trump is acquiring from them headed into this debate, Biden, it would seem, preemptively is pardoning Assange to disincentivize any rallying point for Assange supporters to bite Biden in the ass like Bitcoin did. He is, in effect, attempting to deny Trump any more surprise attacks that would steal votes, add momentum, And in doing so, will get Biden's team off the one-track monolithic type of messaging plan that they intend to go on. Now, where does this idea come from? Well, using Bitcoin as a previous example, RFK Jr. identified the Bitcoin community as a courted voting bloc, and Biden's administration made it an issue, using Warren as their attack dog. Trump, seeing this, took the reins and actively courted the vote, coming out in support of Bitcoin, Ethereum, and using it as a means to deride CBDC, and the president currently backing these things as well. Biden immediately, and I cannot emphasize how scary and how weak this was. Biden immediately pulled back from the Bitcoin bashing, calling off Warren from her crusade, and even going so far as to form an exploratory committee, signaling his change of heart, or change in polling, to say the least. Now, a little bit more detail. The SEC was against Ethereum becoming an ETF, a spot ETF, against it. And then overnight, coming down from the White House, almost literally, they changed their position. And now there's going to be an Ethereum spot product. As a patriotic American, it's pathetic that a voting poll changes an opinion overnight. We're not talking about gradually moving in a direction. Anyway, so that was a big flip-flop for me. Anyway, Biden even overrode basically the SEC blocking of an ETF on Ethereum in what I think is a shocking reversal of policy. Now, back to how this factors in. Many will see Biden's latest flip-flop as a sign of weakness on part, as Zero Hedge correctly notes. There can be no strength. Right? This is where the I have an opinion comes in. There can be no strength perceived in doing what Biden did. It shows that whatever Trump is doing and whatever other niche group Trump can emphasize in his campaign, be it libertarian, free speech, hard money type, Biden is extremely vulnerable to death of 1,000 freedom cuts. That's where we are now. Anti-big state stuff. This is a weakness, no doubt. But did it hurt him to address it as he did? Is it smart in preemptively canceling the risk of a free speech revolt from the Assange libertarian right? Will it also then demotivate them to come out and vote? Or will it remind the right, as it has reminded me, that how truly mendacious Biden is and how truly lacking of a North Star the whole left side of the aisle is in trying to court votes for their own president? The answer to that may be is if there are any follow-ups on this topic or other topics Biden's team decides to preemptively inoculate themselves against in going up against Trump. One thing is for sure, Biden is hemorrhaging votes as issues of freedom take precedence to the disappointment of Biden's handlers. The Democrats are trying to steer things towards women's rights now, and they want to make sure that they've cleared their plate of potential distractions like Bitcoin really was. To reiterate, Biden is actively seeking to kick out new legs supporting Trump before they coalesce around him. And he has almost definitely preemptively taking out a debate topic he knows he cannot win this week. In 2016, 2017, Trump said he wanted to pardon Assange. Now, he never did that, probably because he saw the real politic of it after he got elected, and the intelligence community, which, by the way, leans left, talked him out of it. For whatever reason, he didn't do it, but it's something he can bring up again. So Biden is, again, clearing his plate from issues he is vulnerable on that do not rile up his base. He doesn't want to upset his base. He just wants to dissuade the right-wing voters that are thinking about voting for Trump. Given the problems with economic progress, he wants to focus on abortion rights and other social issues to get out the vote while demotivating the right from supporting Trump on issues dear to them. He is trying to make sure Trump does not get stronger at the fringes of freedom. He's not wrong to narrow the debate scope if he wishes to survive this week at all. But will he survive? It's pathetic. Okay, thank you for listening to that. Let's go to the chart here. I'll give you some very simple level in gold. If gold gets above today's highs, I'm going to buy it for the rest of the day. If gold gets below gets below 23.22, I'm going to consider selling it for the rest of the day. Other than that, no good feel for the market. I believe we're in a range, but now we're in a range of a range. And when you're in a range of a range, I'll get rid of these Bollinger Bands for you. When you're in a range of a range, like here's the range, these two lines here, forget about that, forget about that. Just trust me, this is the range. And now we're in a range of a range. You're getting ready for a pinch and then widening of volatility. That could coincide with PCE on Friday. It also could coincide with the debate. I don't know how it would coincide with debate at all, but these markets are not rational right now. I'm Vince. Have a great day.